Good evening and welcome back. First Homestuck stream in 2 weeks. Thanks for your patience with the delays. Welcome any folks viewing anonymously. We are back at the Homestuck Epilogues meet, starting with chapter 36. So, yes, the sore throat that was stopping me from streaming the weekend before last, it's all good now. And last weekend, streams were canceled because I was at a convention. It was loads of fun. I had a much better sleeping situation, for those of you who have been around a while and remember my disaster story from last year. Yeah, the one involving sleeping sideways on a couch with 2 other people and using a towel as a blanket. Not a good time. Had an actual bed this year. It was nice. Oh, thanks, Odd. And yeah, we're getting pretty close to the end. With regards to that, so we likely only have, let me look at my calendar. Glad it was better this year. Yeah, it was, oh yeah, I didn't do the overcapacity thing. I was just like, you know what? I will take the hit to my wallet if it means actually getting a bed and a good night's sleep. So I roomed with one other person. We still had to, the hotel was booked up enough that we had to share a bed, so we had to share a king bed, but like it's a king bed, like it was fucking big. Yeah, it was much nicer, and the person that I roomed with was also just a super swell person, so just that whole situation was better. Fashion show went well. I got the Inkling Girl amiibo. Okay. And I'm so fucking happy about that, because it was only 25 Canadian, okay? Which is about the upper limit of what I would pay for an amiibo. And so I was just resigned myself to never owning any of the Splatoon amiibos, because they all sell for like fucking $50 and upwards everywhere because they're hard to find. It was the Splatoon 1 Inkling Girl as well. There was another place that had the Splatoon 2 Inkling Girl, but I got the Splatoon 1 Inkling Girl so that I could get those challenge levels in the first game. Also, the Splatoon 2 Inkling Girl cost $5 more. But, trip to Disney. Oh yes. Good luck. I am sending those good vibes to you, that all of your planning works out. Yeah, it's really cute. And yeah, I mean, I think it was only inexpensive is a relative term here, but not like $40 or $50 or whatever, because the packaging looked kind of like it had been kicked around a bit. However, the plastic casing was not dented at all, and the amiibo itself was in perfect condition, so like, fuck it, like, that's what I'm in for anyway. I kind of don't understand people who keep them in the packaging the whole time, because you can't use them if they're in the packaging. So, I mean, I guess for people who collect figures, and their purpose is just for the figure, that makes sense. But it just, I don't know. If you can get that extra cool stuff out of it, then like, why wouldn't you take it out of the packaging? Anyway, that's just my opinion. But yeah, I did not care that the packaging looked kind of shitty, because I'm taking it out of the packaging anyway, and it's real cute. And so the Inkling Girl amiibo is the one that comes with the charger challenge level, so it lets you play the story mode levels with a charger. And it turns out it's fucking hard to beat DJ Octavio with a charger. It's hard enough with the shooter. That was a difficult boss battle, and it is even harder with the charger. Now, I'm having trouble with this, and of course, my brother plays it, and then he gets it in like 2 tries. I was like, fuck you. He's good at fucking everything he picks up. But But yes, that was kind of like the big highlight purchase of the weekend. Yeah, got some accessories. That was nice. I like getting accessories from conventions because then I don't have to pay for ridiculous shipping from Etsy. Heck yeah. Yeah, charger is hard. I kind of want to get good at it. Like, take it into Turf War and try. But, like, I've done that a few times, and I just, like, fail miserably. And it's like, I know that I won't get better unless I keep practicing. So I just keep failing miserably. But, you know. I think it was like, I was going to try Charger, and then I switched over to Splatling, because I just wanted to learn one of the long-range weapons, and now I regularly use the Nautilus, and it's so beautiful. I like the Nautilus. I think I'm decent with the Nautilus. Oh, you buy lots of stickers. Yeah, stickers and pins and stuff. I don't do stickers as much because I feel like the commitment of sticking it to something is just too much for me. Just like, what if I stick it here and then I don't like this thing anymore later on? Or what if I stick it here and then I stick it at a weird angle by accident and then I look at it and I want to move it but I can't, and it just like really stresses me out. Yeah. This is the first time I have ever gone to an event like this, to a convention, without buying any posters. I always buy posters, but I'm running out of fucking wall space. Like, I'm literally running out of wall space. They're all still in the bag. Yeah. No, I have like I have a couple stickers that I've got from like places around, like at, like giving out like stickers at Pride events and stuff. But they're just sitting there. I don't know what to do with them. But I didn't buy any posters. I'm so proud of myself. I came so close. I scratched that itch by getting a keychain from an Artist Alley table instead. It's got Callie on one side and Marie on the other. If they had Off the Hook, I would have got that instead. I'm not gonna lie. Callie and Marie, bless you, but like, I am an Off the Hook person. But it was actually an Off the Hook poster that I almost bought, and then I was like, don't do it. But yeah, it's got Callie on one side and Marie on the other, and it's very cute. It is a great keychain. It's so cute. I'm pretty sure the table I bought it from did also have an Off the Hook one, but like, so what happened on Friday is that there were so many delays. Like, there was a massive delay. Like, I was standing in line for ever getting checked into the hotel. And then my roommate, I had to wait in our room so that I could give him the key. Give him his key. But he got stuck in traffic on the bus and then accidentally went to the wrong hotel. So we was just running late all over the place. And then by the time I got there, I ate food and went immediately to this panel I really wanted to go to. And then I only had like 10-15 minutes to look around the Artist Alley on the first day. And then I had to go to another panel that I was really looking forward to. So I didn't have any time to look on Friday, or I probably would have bought that Off the Hook keychain on Friday. But by the time I got to the table on Saturday, after the fashion show, which took up my entire morning and most of my afternoon, there were 2 empty hooks on the keychain display, and they did have designs for Off the Hook available and like pins and stuff, so I'm assuming that one of the empty keychain hooks was supposed to be Off the Hook, which, now that I say it out loud, is kind of I don't think ironic is the right word, kind of a play on words. Anyway, Off the Hook was not on the hook, they were off the hook. Doy. But yeah, they still had Kelly and Marie. Yeah, it was. Uh, uh. Yeah. So, I just realized that. Fuck. But yeah, that was. Yeah, I did want to get one keychain. I think I'm switching from posters to keychains. I'll get at least one keychain at all the cons that I attend. I only have one key on my key ring. It's just the key to my house. But like, it's okay. I'll just still keep piling more keychains on there. I have like this I have like a cute bird and a Kirby and a Minun, like the Pokemon, and like this little snail. I think that's all I got right now. Oh yeah, and a keychain for my summer job, the summer camp that I work at, which I'm doing fundraising for tomorrow. So that is why there is no stream tomorrow. There will be stream on Sunday because I don't know exactly when I'm going to be getting home. And I will be very tired. Right, stream schedule. Was just talking about that. Right, bringing it back around to what we're actually doing today. Homestuck Epilogues, chapter 36. So we're getting close to the end, but we're also getting very close to when I will have to leave to go and work at summer camp. So, I talked about this a little bit on the bonus stream on Tuesday, the Dream Daddy stream, which if you want to check that out, it's a good time. Oh, your internet crapped out. Oh, it's all good. I'm nervous that my internet's gonna do it today. I swear to God, I'm talking about it, and so now it's absolutely gonna fucking crap out in the middle of stream. Because it cut out on me twice earlier today. I was not happy about that. But fingers crossed that it won't do that this time. Same with the keychains. Yeah, it's I mean, like, okay, technically I have 2 keys on there, but one of them is the key for my old part-time job that I was like supposed to have given back, but I just kind of never did, and then they never asked for it. So I just kind of still have a key to the building. I don't know if it still works. I kind of want to check, but that would probably also be trespassing. So I don't want to get charged with trespassing. But yeah, no. You're good to break in whenever. I know, right? It's tempting. It is super tempting. I'm really glad that I don't like pass through that area very frequently anymore. I basically only went there for work. And there was like this little cafe in there that I used to go to with my ex a lot. But yeah, I don't really pass through there much anymore. So the temptation is kind of sated by the fact that like I don't regularly see it. But I'm like 90% sure that it's still an empty unit and that no one else has moved into it yet. Because what happened was one of the reasons I stopped working there was they changed locations to somewhere that was just like way out of the way, like I couldn't get to it. So yeah, I think that unit is still empty, which makes it even more tempting, which makes me even more glad that I don't pass by it very often, because I would fucking it's so tempting. I've kind of mused about this in front of my parents one time, and they were just like, Caitlin, no. Abandoned building time. Yeah, it's right across from a really active restaurant though, so there is like a high chance that I would be caught by people coming in and out of the restaurant. Yeah, it's like a unit in this plaza. I'm surprised that there's like most likely still no one in there, because it's a pretty good location. Like it's an active plaza, but I don't know. Maybe they're charging too much for rent. They probably are. Only if they snitch. Yeah. Okay, I keep getting just super distracted. Okay, dates and times. So today is Okay, it's May 31st. I was going to say June 1st, but it's not June 1st yet. That would be after midnight. It's the first weekend of June. So we have we should have 3 more weekends of streams after this. I'm assuming that by the 29th of June, the last weekend, I will be up there because since I'm one of the programmers, I have to go up a few days before training week, and help get stuff set up and all that jazz. But I'm assuming after this weekend we'll have 3 more weekends worth of streams, which should be enough to finish meat, so we talked about this on Tuesday. I don't want to start candy, only to have to take month and a half long break, right after doing the first fucking 2 chapters. So if there is gap time, we'll hop back into Problem Sleuth from wherever the fuck we left off. I have it written down somewhere. I'll find it. Shopping district near your house that's cycling because of rent. Yeah. Yep. That's been happening in a lot of different plazas around here as well. Yeah. So that's the plan right now, is to try and finish meat, and then we'll hop back into Problem Sleuth for a bit. Have a little fun with that. And then I will disappear for camp at some point. I don't actually know the exact day yet. But, yeah. I mean, when I'm doing the fundraising tomorrow, I'm going to be sitting at a table with the camp director. So hopefully at some point during the day, we can kind of talk camp stuff. But, indeed. Okay. So, that's what's up with stream stuff for now. Was I gonna... Oh, yes. I remember now. Let's see. So, let me open up my Word document very quickly. I'm just going to make sure to get all my links in order. So, I'm going to link the first episode of Dream Daddy, because I talked about the Dream Daddy streams in case anyone wants to get caught up on those. Highly recommend it. They're loads of fun. And then there is this article that I forgot that I bookmarked. So it's called How Homestuck Defined What It Means to Be a Fan Online. This article, y'all may or may not have already read it. I'm pretty sure I bookmarked this 2.5 weeks ago, so it might be old news for some folks. But I also haven't read it in a while, so I don't remember exactly where it goes, but I do remember enjoying it. It was a good read. I think I remember that I didn't quite agree with 100% of the statements that it made about the epilogue, and I wanted to talk about that before we get into the epilogue itself. Actually, yeah, so let's do a quick overview of this article. Let's talk about it, because that's what this shit's all about. We talk about it. Oh, that's right. I skipped over... Okay, I'm going to skip over this, because the top part is kind of it's just a summary, basically. Okay, I think this is about where it stops being just a summary. Yeah, the first part is kind of like a Homestuck for the uninitiated, this is what the plot is kind of thing. On 4/13 of this year, the 10th anniversary of Homestuck's beginning, an introduction to the epilogue went live. A week later, on 4/20, blaze it, etc., the rest of the epilogue dropped. The thing itself, a 190,000-word, 2-part, nonlinear novel co-written by Hussey and fan creators Sefid Variable, CT Set, Lalo Hunt, and Aisha Ufera. These epilogues not only tie off the outstanding narrative questions, they also pose a deeper, more pressing set of questions about the social changes that have occurred in the decades since Homestuck began. After all, the comic started at the dawn of Obama's presidency, and when it finally came to a close in April of 2016, America was hurtling towards its own unpleasant denouement in November. Because Obama's the Homestuck president. The epilogues acknowledge all of this in ways small and large, from characters shouting at each other about neoliberalism to Obama himself showing up. And by positioning themselves as firmly after the creation myth that was Homestuck, these epilogues clarify exactly what was being mythologized: the internet and the world we created with it. No small part of Homestuck's success can be contributed to its embrace of the idiosyncrasies of online culture. At the story's beginning, the main characters only know each other by their screen names, and for most of the comic, they primarily converse through instant message clients and texting. Even in-person communication, when it eventually shows up, retains the formatting of chat logs. The super powerful game at the center of the plot concerns a place tellingly called the Medium, a false solar system that holds at its center an object called Skya, which one character describes as a dormant crucible of unlimited creative potential. We should understand this vast fantasy world as a stand-in for the internet, the game as a means of communication and socialization it fosters, and Skya as the potential new world created when life begins. Or began, since if you're reading this, we're certainly already here, to be lived online. Ostensibly, the protagonist's goal is to best the game's challenges and successfully bring Skya to bloom, creating their new universe. In 2016, when the protagonists finally took up residence on their new planet, it seemed a surprisingly straightforward ending to a story so metafictionally complex that, at one point, the villain killed the author, a fictionalized version of Hussey himself, who took his banishment to the afterlife as an opportunity to propose to one of his own dead characters. She was grossed out. Homestuck's ending opted to cut the proverbial Gordian knot, allowing its characters to literally escape the overworked continuity of the villain-controlled story for a new beginning free of his influence. Yes, Obama will always be the Homestuck president. Homestuck's new epilogues provide two ways of imagining what happens next, based on a choice given to the comic's original protagonist. He can either return to the canon plot of Homestuck to finally and truly defeat the aforementioned reality-devouring skeleton narrator, or he can remain in the post-canon with his friends. Even the offer of these choices is a loaded one, since the core dilemma in this series is the character's own sense of their limited agency. Because their primary enemy was in control of the comic's narrative machinery, deviating from his plans meant being exiled to a non-canon timeline and plot-irrelevant death. With the power to choose his own canonicity, the comic's original protagonist has the opportunity not only to determine his own fate, but to offer a postscript evaluation of the value of canonicity itself. In the age of the internet, asks Homestuck, what happens when stories are finished? Who gets to control them? What happens to the characters? And what are the consequences? Like the main comic, the epilogues are long, sprawling, and weird. To get too deeply into the plot, as usual, would rapidly become a breathless digression about how actually, the abusive alien clown who spends a lot of time here delivering sermons and drinking human breast milk has always been a controversial figure. Luckily, this myth, like most myths, lends itself to abstraction. Fucking Gamzee. God, Candy is gonna be a fucking trip to read on stream. That's just gonna be... Oh, boy. In one ending, John, the central protagonist, several years after the end of Homestuck, returns to the canon narrative and gathers younger versions of his friends for a final battle. They are successful, but as the villain has assumed control of the narrative, his destruction also means the destruction of the story, and John is left wandering an infinite void, slowly dying from his wounds. In the other ending, John chooses to remain in the post-canon continuity, and at first things seem to go well. Characters grow up, pursue romantic relationships, get married, and have children. But in this path, John ends his story middle-aged, divorced, and watching helplessly as tensions among his superpowered friends escalate into fascist dystopia and guerrilla warfare. Whew. Yep, that sure does happen. Although, even in the beginning, at first things seem to go well. I mean, there's always a sense that something is really off, that people are too cheery, that things are too perfect, too textbook happy ending. The Homestuck Epilogues uses their bifurcated structures to condense, from the mess of the established plot, two possibilities for Homestuck's aftermath. Yet neither half of the epilogue can or should be understood as canon, or even strictly speaking, non-canon. Indeed, the events in one epilogue impact developments in the other, as certain characters pass between continuities at critical moments. In addition to being written with two noted fan creators, the epilogues are formatted to resemble online fanfic repository archive of our own. In the same way that no fanfic is by definition more canon than any other, so too are these epilogues not mutually exclusive, but overlapping extrapolations from a shared body of fiction. This is key to understanding the story that Homestuck now tells. In the first epilogue, after the villain's defeat and John's death, another protagonist finds the idea of living in a post-canon reality, free of all guiding influence, terrifying, and as he justifies it, morally unconscionable. Double-crossing his friends, this character assumes control of the narrative himself, becoming the new narrator, and escapes with plans to oversee new civilization, one whose entire history will be geared towards playing the game again, this time according to his specifications. I actually didn't get that out of reading Meat, but I've also technically read it in, under 24 hours. So it might make sense that I missed a few things. But that'd be something to keep in mind. If there's any hints at that in Meat itself, because it's in the postscript, it was kind of I got that, but I didn't quite grab that from the body of Meat. In the second ending, characters' lives hit the controversial beats of fanfic, coffee shop dates, having children with ridiculous names, but also succumb to the genre's popularly conceived excesses. The most vile characters proclaim redemption. Remember that clown? Partners cheat on each other and get divorced, and the would-be utopia is mirrored in exactly the social and political concerns that were supposedly left behind. There's also a lot of weird sex stuff. Remember that clown? Both epilogues complicate the promise of the game played in Homestuck proper. A clean start on a new world is not as easy as it sounds. Despite their differences, the epilogues are concerned with how things keep happening. The first pivots on the nihilistic megalomania of a character who thinks he can and should be the only one to finally assume unilateral control over the tools of world creation. The second covers how another character who once lived a life of privilege as the heiress to a corporate empire, gradually but ineluctably reproduces Earth's systemic inequalities and oppressions on the path to becoming a racist demagogue. More specifically, xenophobic, because it's aliens, not humans. Specifically. At least, they don't say anything about human racism in the epilogues. She's probably on that train as well. Anyway. If this all sounds depressing, I think the melancholy is a large part of the point. The epilogue suggests, in different ways, that the true villain of Homestuck was never an individual character, but rather certain structures of power and feelings of entitlement that worm their way into our consciousness and proceed to repeat themselves across time and space. In the early 2000s, we were told the internet was the future, and that with its advent we glimpsed the beginnings of a better, more accessible, more democratic world of tomorrow. The internet as it appears in early Homestuck with its chat clients and GameFAQs walkthroughs looks more like the internet I grew up on. Many of my formative experiences, including many of my oldest friendships, featured AOL Instant Messenger and webcomic forums. And by the end of Homestuck, there are jokes about Instagram, Bitcoin, Snapchat, and Kickstarter. So the internet came, and it brought the future with it. And in that future, in this new world, what have we found? The blank space of the internet's broad possibility meant, for one, that our society's worst attitudes could coagulate anywhere. And they did, becoming part of the resurgence of reactionary violence worldwide. Standing above it all, are supposedly singular individuals with unimaginable wealth and power who avow that they alone are competent enough to control the technologies through which we make and remake our social realities. What happened when a bunch of kids decided to play a game together online? They created a world. We created a world. And I'm sorry we didn't do better. Yet the epilogues also demonstrate the opportunities for real change and satisfaction. Untrammeled by former teleologies of plot, characters who once faced death for diverging from canon are now allowed to experiment with their sexual and gender identities, pursuing new family structures, and literally searching out narrators who will respect their pronouns. These efforts are not always successful, and along with that, of course, comes the darker matters. The fascist government, the gruesome deaths, the clown that drinks breast milk. Fucking Gamzee. Homestuck's dual epilogues present two extremes. Either the narrative is dominated by self-involved control freak pedants, or it's turned over to the messy, deeply conflicted, unsavory, but often beautiful, and indeed sometimes liberatory realm of fanwork. But in this way, the fiction is not much different from the world we inhabit, in that there is great suffering, but also still time and opportunity to work together to combat that suffering. A story can have one narrator, or it can have many. Homestuck formally always wavered between these possibilities, but in the end opts for the latter. Multiple authors and multiple endings. To go beyond canon is not diminishing, but enlivening. It means change is always possible, that we do not know where we are going. The world is yet undecided. Rather than telling us the story is over and done with, Homestuck's epilogue reminds us that we still have choices to make. So, yeah, that was an interesting read. I can't remember what exactly it was that I had thought differently about. I thought that all kind of checked out. But yeah, I do believe I've linked that in chat already, right? Yes, I have. Yeah. So I thought that was an interesting take about the parallels in current. Like, a lot of people have kind of been comparing it with parallels between current political situations. It's kind of unclear if that was the intention or not. But there definitely do seem to be a lot of things in common with how we are having to presently navigate political someone who grew up with Homestuck versus someone who was online before it. Yeah, like, I was not, like, you know, there's the author, you know, kind of talked about, yeah, like, it's just AOL Instant Messenger and early friendships and all this stuff. Like, I grew up kind of like, I mean, I was born in 97. So I missed, like, the advent of email, and, like, I pretty much entirely missed AOL Instant Messenger. I was on MSN Messenger. Yes, the successor to AOL. Yes, I remember MSN Drama. I remember talking with my friends from school. I remember I remember how cool it was being able to talk to my friend's friend who I hadn't actually met in person yet. We could, like, message online. It was really neat. You know, staying in touch with friends who'd moved away. Those were all, like, pretty novel things. And I remember being on, like, the Sims 3 forums in, like, 2009, 2010? I'm gonna say 2010. You get on later in middle school. You remember when Facebook started? Yes, I remember when Facebook started being, like, the thing that people were supposed to have. I remember MySpace. I was never on MySpace. I was just a couple years too young to hit that stride. I would have been... Yikes. I don't even want to think about it. I probably would have been, like, a fucking scene queen or something, because I absolutely had a scene phase. Anyway. Just choking on my own spit. Yeah, like the idea of shaping a separate online identity was like, you know, a novel idea, you know, that you could shape it in these like very specific ways. Like lying on the internet, I'm sure was around since the beginning of the internet, and I'm sure that, you know, shaping your own online identity was a thing that started happening back when fucking like AOL Messenger and shit, and like really early message boards. But yeah, it was like, you know, like all of a sudden you have this realization that like maybe I don't have to put all of my blemishes out there. I would be interested in having a conversation with someone who grew up like in the years kind of after all of that, and how like someone who grew up with smartphones, because I didn't grow up with smartphones. Like the advent of smartphones changed the way that we use the internet so much, right? DeviantArt, oh god, yeah. Yeah, like you could choose what photos, and like your sister had an iPhone since she was in middle school. Yeah, like, and it worries, yeah, like it's a whole different, like, you know, I remember being in, I think I was in 7th grade or maybe 8th grade when the first iPhone came out. And you know, and then that was when people actually used BlackBerry phones. It was either iPhone or BlackBerry. Those were the big ones, and now it's like iPhone or Samsung, I guess, like the Galaxy line is pretty popular. And it was like, yeah, like it changed things so much. Like if you look at like the beginning of Homestuck, right? Early Homestuck, John is using his dad's PDA to get online and different like parts of the house. Which, you know, looking back, it's like, oh yeah, of course he has a phone, a kind of smartphone type device. But at the time, that was still like really new, and I mean, that wasn't technically a smartphone; it was a PDA, you know, which is kind of a different beast, you know. And Dave had an iPhone, right? But yeah, like that would have been really new. When did the first iPhone come out? Let me Google this shit. Lots of typos, but the question, okay, 2007. Okay, so I would have been actually in, I think, 6th grade when the first iPhone came out then. Like 2008? Yeah, it's Google is telling me like June 20. Shit, I closed the tab already. 1 second. June 27th, I think? No, June 29th, 2007. Yeah. That is what Google is informing me. But yeah. So then, yeah, by the time I got to 8th grade, that was when like my peers were starting to get smartphones. And then by high school, everybody had smartphones and I didn't. But that was also like kind of by choice. Oh, true. I would have been 10. That wasn't 6th grade. So my timelines are a little mixed up, but I know for sure, like, the growing popularity of smartphones really, like, kind of hit its stride when I was in, like, 7th, 8th grade kind of thing. Yeah. I'd be interested because I didn't grow up with, like, everybody having their own pocket computer, or like everyone in the house like has their own like laptop or whatever, you know. We had, for the majority of my childhood, one family computer that everybody used. You know, at a certain point, my dad got his own computer for his office. But up until I'm gonna say like 13, we had one family computer that myself and my brother and my mom all had to share. You only got a laptop because it was your dad's broken laptop. Oh, the screen didn't hold up. Yeah. Yeah, I got my first laptop when I was in 7th grade, because I'd been saving up for it for years, because I was like, I'm gonna be a writer. I want a laptop so I can type things. And I saved and saved and saved and saved, and then my parents were like, holy shit, I think that they're actually really serious about this, because I'd been saving up since like 5th grade, and they were like, okay, we see that you're serious. And they found one on sale, and it was a Christmas gift, and I was like, you're fucking amazing. And that was my first laptop. But from that point forward, though, all of my computers have been hand-me-downs, like my brother's old computer, or my dad's old computer. Although my most recent one, well, my computer fucking died out of the blue, so it wasn't like we had a hand-me-down ready. We had to search for that one. But, yeah, that was pretty sweet. I was super not expecting that, but I was just like, I think it was around 5th grade, and I was like, I want a laptop so I can do my writing everywhere. And then I started saving. In like 5th grade, I was like, fuck Littlest Pet Shops, I'm getting a fucking computer. But yeah, just how, you know, the way that the internet has developed and the way that it's changed society and all sorts of stuff. Definitely are conversations that can be had kind of around the epilogues. So, it's like 11:45. Maybe we should actually read the story now. Oh my goodness, what a novel idea. You still have some you found them the other day. Oh. Yeah, mine are, I'm 99% sure they're all still, like, in my basement. I know, right? I just remember that too. I was like, hey, guess what this stream is actually supposed to be? Not this. I mean, like, this is relevant, though. This is relevant. These are relevant discussions. However, also kind of sort of not what people came here for. So, yeah, I've watched the number of viewers go from 2 up to 3 and then down to 2 a number of times. If people kind of come and go and are like, what the fuck's happening here? But yes, so I linked this already and all that jazz. Indeed. So, relevant reading material. So this is kind of a longer chapter. We're probably going to run over break time. So we'll read this and then do break and then hopefully see if we can get through a little bit more. I'm going to have some water before I get started on this. Right, I'm just scanning the page and remembering where exactly we are. I believe the last chapter we read was the one where John dies. And Terezi fucking listens to him bleed while she... No, what is it? Is it smells him bleed while she listens to him die, or listens to him bleed while she smells him die? Fuck. God. That was just, like, such a painful callback. Like, it was, there's so many moments like that in the epilogues where they do, whether it's a callback or just generally a joke, and it's fucking hilarious, but at the same time, it's either super uncomfortable or super fucking sad. Okay. So, without further ado, 36. So it turns out that home is an entirely abstract concept, a state of mind, if you will, rather than a literal physical construct that can make you feel one way or the other. Teresa's been gone long enough that her friends seem like strangers, entangled in relationship dynamics that she's obliquely excluded from, embroiled in petty feuds and obsessed with politics. Oh, do you want to know how those petty feuds and political obsessions turned out, by the way? I thought it was pretty obvious, but I'll say what's up anyway. Jane swept the election, of course. I told you I was going to win. After Jake's incoherent and scandalous heel turn at Karkat's ill-fated rally, no amount of esoteric three-dimensional JPEG artifacts could have salvaged the Vantas campaign. Besides, Dave and Karkat now have other concerns. Mainly that their BFF Jade has been in a coma for an entire month. They've been in and out of the hospital handling her affairs. Her next of kin is listed as John Egbert, and no one's seen him in ages. It's like he just disappeared suddenly, like some great hand came out of the sky and crossed his name off the big list of guys we ever need to give a shit about anymore. And that's all I have to say about that paragraph. Just a little bit of screaming. Teresa heard about Jade from a rather harried Kanaya, who was doubtlessly run ragged from the hot potato plot circles that I've been sending her on for weeks to stop her from reading me the riot act for kidnapping her wife. I just, Ooh, oh, and it gets worse. Let's, The woman is obviously hysterical and needs to chill the fuck out. I mean, she's hysterical because I've been specifically and deliberately causing her to be that way, sure. But still, she should be fine soon enough. You gross misogynist piece of garbage. Oh, she's just... Oh, what a hysterical woman. Hey, fuck a cactus. It takes Teresa a couple of days to work up the what, exactly? What is she supposed to be feeling right now? I'm not sure myself. Maybe I should take a minute to think about the thing you're supposed to feel when someone goes through whatever the hell it is she just went through. If I come up with any ideas, I could easily do her the favor of helping her feel it. Whatever it is she's supposed to feel, what she actually feels is empty. Colorless, dried up, as she walks beneath a holographic billboard displaying Jane's glorious victory speech. The ceremony accompanying the speech is patently absurd, stuffed with so much pomp and circumstance that Teresa's nose can't make sense of what she's supposed to be looking at. It's all just light and color, signifying nothing. Teresa. Her internal smelloscope is so discombobulated from the onslaught of pastry-themed floats and Jane's tearful soliloquy on the legacy of responsibility she is about to inherit that she mistakes the familiar figure standing in front of the hospital for someone else entirely. Hey, cool kid. How's Jade doing? Roxy turns around and blinks in confusion. Teresa blinks back. Kanaya had warned her that Roxy had been going through some changes, but this still takes her by surprise. So, in her defense, this was an honest mistake to make. Dave gets half of his genetics from Roxy, after all, and since... Okay, look, I understand that at this point, it has not been narratively told to Dirk that Roxy's pronouns at this present moment are he, him. But, like, still, he's not even using they, them, which would be the last pronouns for him to know to use. So, like, fuck you. So, in her defense, this was an honest mistake to make. Dave gets half of his genetics from Roxy, after all, and since her big heart-to-heart about the personal politics of queer onion metaphors, and the 10 stages of galaxy braining through the many vicissitudes of the phrase no homo... that was a good conversation. It makes me want to go back and read that shit again. The fucking gay hot pocket metaphors. So good. Okay. Roxy has decided to really step up her gender experimentation. I guess at this point she's gone beyond stage 10, which I imagine is somewhat like reaching Super Saiyan 2 of gender, and then going even further beyond. She's got the shades now, and sports one of those sweep-over hipster cuts that Dave loves so much. Nothing ambiguous about this presentation, although if I'm being totally real, it's a bit derivative. Anyway, I can't complain too much about her decision to crib the Strider style, since, she's family. Besides, I'm T-minus 10 hours from fucking off this gay earth forever. It's her life, her gender, her style. She can be whatever the fuck she wants. Wow. Going off of this entire sentence about how Roxy can be whatever the fuck he wants and misgendering the entire fucking time. Oh my god. Anyway, just giving me flashbacks to some, like, real fucking people who I've read who talk like that. They're like, yeah, that's the person, yay, you can be whoever you want to be, but in the meantime, they're just, like, literally, like, misgendering and, like, not respecting the people who they're saying can be whoever they want to be. It's like, you can be whoever you want to be as long as it fits my worldview, and fuck you if it doesn't. Like, yeah. Anyway. T-minus 10 hours from fucking off this gay earth forever. I know. No, that's the fucking thing with Meat Dirk, is that most of the time he's so aggravating and infuriating. But sometimes he drops lines like that, and it's like, oh my god. Roxy's whole face lights up when she sees Terzi. OMG, Terzi, I didn't know you were back. Whoops, sorry, I just hit my space bar and I lost my space. There we are. What up? Oh, Roxy. Hi. I thought you were Dave. Oh, LMAO, that makes sense. I thought for a minute you were appreciating my rad new look, but I know I got a ways to go before I dethrone the original cool kid. No, you're very cool. In fact, I would probably venture that if I were judging coolness in a formal coolness contest judged by the pros, on a completely objective basis, you are actually a billion times cooler than Dave. Wow, thanks. Which is a fact that seems so obvious that I've definitively knocked several ranks off of my own personal coolness attribute by even saying it out loud, rather than allowing it to be assumed. Roxy definitely is. I know. I love Roxy so much. Also, Roxy Terzi interactions. Did we get any of this in canon? Like, I don't think we got any Roxy Terzi interactions in Homestuck proper. And I think this is the only conversation they get together in the epilogues too. Possibly? And I fucking love it. Like, the two of them riffing off each other. Because it's got that, like, similar vibe to Terzi Dave conversations, because Roxy has that kind of similar way of talking. But, like, they vibe still on, like, just, like, a bit of a different level, and it's so good. I love them so much. Terzi is also incredibly cool. Terzi was my favorite troll even before I knew their names the very first time I read Homestuck, and she still holds a very special place in my very gay heart, and I love her so much. Lol, no way. Terzi, you're like the raddest chick I know. Terzi's jaw tightens. She's not ready to hear any words that remind her of those few hours with John. Her hand goes to her pocket where she's keeping the wallet. She traces the contours of it with her thumb and forces a smile. If you say so. Yeah, I fucking do say so. Don't make me repeat myself. Roxy seems almost effusive despite the circumstances. An earthy, genuine effusiveness that lights her up from the inside. Terzi's head is filled with stories about a different version of Roxy. The polar opposite to the one standing in front of her. because she heard all about Candy Roxy from Candy John, via texting and shit. And it's like in Snapchat. So, you're here to see Jade, huh? Yeah, I heard what happened to her, and I thought I should come, well, you know. Pay respects? No, that's dumb. Terzi knows that's dumb. This is just emotion you go through. John would definitely want to be here, though, and technically Terzi is taking him with her. He may be in her pocket, but lately she's been feeling more like he's under her skin. She hasn't told anyone what happened, but at least she knows she can look at him whenever she wants. I feel like that's a little creepy, to just, like, stare at his corpse. That's not a healthy coping mechanism. Staring at the corpse of a loved one all the time is not a healthy coping mechanism. Yeah, it's looking grim. On one hand, she's just laying there, so there's not really a chance of her doing anything either evil or heroic to off herself permanently. But it's also been so long, it's like, is she just gonna sleep forever? Sleeping forever definitely sounds like a Jade move to me. Yeah, lol, I feel bad cracking jokes about it, but I think it's what she'd want, us having hope and all. Yes, where's Calliope? You two are still together, right? Oh, God. Back when Jade first got all effed up, Callie saw something and it made them freak out. It took me weeks to convince them that it was safe to come home. But now we've got the opposite problem, and they aren't leaving the house at all. They stay home all day with the blinds drawn, painting some weird-ass shit on the walls. What? It's not as bad as it sounds, I promise. Some of it is, like, weird and violent. Like, lots of nasty purple blood and, nudity? Yeah, yikes. But most of it is cute stuff, like various combos of all us being happy and getting married and shit. Anyway, that kept Callie kind of busy. So this is, Callie is getting visions of the Candy timeline, and it's kind of unclear. Yeah. It's kind of unclear, like, how or why they're getting visions of the Candy timeline. But, like, that is definitely what's going on here. I mean, like, weird and violent because we have, like, the fascism and the genocide, and then lots of nasty purple blood because fucking Gamzee is there and he dies, and nudity because there's lots of fucking, and the combos of all the little marriage things, and yeah. So they're definitely drawing Candy timeline, but it's kind of like, what is it about the presence of Alt Callie that is giving kind of Alpha Callie this knowledge? Use Callie trying to take a vessel and meet Callie. Yeah, it's kind of unclear. Like, Muse Callie, she takes over Jade's body in both timelines. I think because they're both heroes of space. And she uses a dead Jade to take over Jade as a vessel. But with Alpha Callie, I don't think that they can do the same thing to Alpha Callie. I mean, I guess the mechanics of it are pretty unclear. This is kind of an unprecedented situation here. But yeah, it's like, what is it about the presence of Alt Callie that is giving Alpha? And because there's a certain point at which in the Candy timeline, Alt Callie takes over Jade's body, and then Alpha Callie disappears, and we don't really see them for a long time after that. They just kind of completely disappear. So, you know, is Alpha Callie in the Candy timeline having the same knowledge, but it's just not shown to us in the same way because there's so much other shit going on? I mean, it's possible, but I don't think that would make sense because Alpha Callie never god-tiered, and the Ascension is connected specifically to being god tier. I'm like 99% sure of that. Yeah, with how she's pushed to the side in Candy. So, yeah, there's definitely some fuck shit, like, happening around this whole situation. That's not entirely explained. Right, I kind of left off, like, mid Roxy speech here. Anyway, that's kept Callie kind of busy. So it was hard as hell to convince them to let me come see Jade at all. It's like they're traumatized, and they think I'll drag whatever possessed Jade back into our home with me. Does Callie know what happened to Jade then? Maybe, Attica. I'm not gonna push them. Callie's got all kind of hang-ups about their existence and purpose and potential lack thereof. When they're ready to talk about it, I want them to be able to talk about it, you know? Yes, it does sound like pushing them when they're vulnerable will just backfire. Terzi startles a bit when her phone buzzes. Who would even be messaging her now when the only person she ever talked to is currently dead in her other pocket? She's intrigued, but she thinks better of worrying about it. It'd be rude to look at her phone when she's in the middle of a conversation. Because y'all know who that is? Motherfucker, that's Vriska. From the Candy timeline. Texting. That is Alpha Vriska texting Alpha Terzi, Candy timeline to meet timeline. Because she has that whole conversation with Vriska to Electric Boogaloo and decides that she should text Terzi. She should message Terzi back because she finally sees those messages that Terzi left her all this fucking time ago before Collide stuff happens. And this stresses me out so much. The other option would be that it's Candy John still getting in touch with her, because we know that the time mechanics between Terzi, Alpha Terzi, and Candy John are kind of wonky. But, like, it's probably Vriska, because we're getting really close to the end, so it's probably Vriska. And oh, that reminds me. Have you seen John lately? Terzi's heart skips a beat. It's almost as if Roxy is the one reading her mind. Why do you ask? No one else has asked yet. Roxy gives a shrug. A conflicted look crosses her face, but I can't see past it. With the dead shrub out of the picture, the aura of void surrounding Roxy once again is impenetrable. Those baller shades aren't exactly improving my odds of reading her either. I'll say again what I've always felt about her on some level. Some riddles were never meant to be solved. He went back to the medium a while ago, right? I thought maybe you and he crossed paths. Terzi does not flinch. Her pleasant expression does not falter. She's good at the appearance of confidence even when racked with indecision and grief. No, I haven't seen him. Big sad emoji. Big sad emoji about everything here. Terzi doesn't... She's just used to keeping on that good face even when she's not in a good place, and I just want my girl to be okay. Oh, damn, that's too bad. Callie and I have been worried. Kinda hoped you would have come back, or at least let us know what he's up to. Between this and what's going on with Jade, the lack of closure is gonna keep me up at night. I'm sorry. I wish I knew what to tell you. Hey, it's fine. You can't fix everyone's problems. I know. Roxy pinches her lips together and examines Terezi over the rim of her sunglasses for a moment. Maybe, having watched her own friend group suffer stress fractures recently, she understands the weight of those words as uttered by this specific person. Because Terezi is a fixer, and it has always been a very difficult lesson for her to learn that some things are simply out of her control. Maybe it's just that Roxy can hear the bone-deep sorrow in her voice. It's him, you fucking oaf. You fucking oaf. Nice one, Terezi. I love you. What? Who you loudly whispering to? Oh, nobody. Oh, my bad. Why not send him my regards? Tell him he makes a kick-ass hymn for me. It suits the hell out of him. I'm not fucking telling him that. Yeah, because this is just... Does being the fixer sound familiar to you? I know, right? The fuck do you think you're trying to do right now, Dirk, my boy? Fuck. Whatever was bothering Roxy, it passes quickly and he says nothing about it. He puts his hand on Terezi's shoulder and gives it a warm clap. The fraternal kind, which a couple of solid dudes might exchange after having just broed out. It's convincing, actually. Reasonably authentic and quite masculine. He's off to a great start, exhibiting the mannerisms associated with his chosen gender. I'm genuinely proud of him. That's fucking, like, what is it about this that, like, this is, it just strikes me as, like, you're gonna off-dirk yourself. I know, right? When a cis person says to a trans person, like, oh, I couldn't even tell, as if that's, like, a compliment, as if, like, passing is the epitome, or whatever, and you know, just, I mean, the whole concept of passing in the first place, right? Like, yeah, like, it sounds almost mocking, but, yeah, it's, like, that whole... You know, like, oh, reasonably authentic, as if there would be anything inauthentic about Roxy doing dude bro stuff just because he's trans. Like, yeah, alienating and isolating. Like, Dirk's gonna die tonight for it. Honestly, fuck this guy. Oh my god. Yeah, that just, like, ugh, just makes me feel slimy reading that out loud. Like, it's so, ugh. Okay, well, I should get going. It was nice catching up. Don't be a stranger, alright? Stranger than what? LMAO, you're a riot. But you know what I mean. Yeah. See you. As soon as Roxy's gone, Terezi regrets lying to him about John. It's a hard secret to keep, but probably a harder one to reveal. Maybe it would have been better if she had run into Dave instead of Roxy. It would have been easier to confide something like that to Dave, wouldn't it? Well, maybe it would have been easier. Years ago, in a different timeline. And even then, she messed that up, didn't she? But we can't beat ourselves up too much for our teen mistakes. Let alone the stuff we can't even remember, because it technically never happened to us. We have enough to worry about as it is, right, Terezi? Ugh. I know you can hear me. Of course I can hear you. You've been broadcasting your nonsense at me non-stop since John zapped us back. I know that every member of your family, except the one I just had a pleasantly brief conversation with, is genetically incapable of shutting up. But can you just let me be depressed in peace? I know, stranger than what? I was just like, oh, Tersey, I love you. But, like, can you just let me be depressed in peace? I mean, like, that's... God, you know, sometimes that's kind of a mood. Like, that's not a good thing. That is not a good thing. I kind of understand that. But yeah, I love that every member of your family, except the one I just had a pleasantly brief conversation with, is genetically incapable of shutting up. Oh yeah, and then Dirk's next fucking line. I feel depressed all the time, but I can't remember ever having the luxury of feeling peaceful about it. Why should it be different for anyone else? What do you want? Come on, Tersey. You don't belong here. You know you don't belong here. And what the hell do you know about where I belong? What do you know about what I know? Have we ever had a single sustained conversation that lasted more than 10 minutes? Rox is the only one who learned social cues. To be honest, I'm not sure if we've ever exchanged any words at all. But why should that matter? Here we both are. It's a beautiful day. You've got your dead boyfriend in your wallet, and we've already managed to strike a nice metatextual rapport. So hear me out. I know that you've always felt out of step here on Earthsea. I know that you could easily put on a brilliant act that would fool everyone. You could potentially do that for the rest of your life. But it will eat into you, hollow you out like a parasite, because you'll always refuse to allow yourself to be understood. You know you'll never be happy here, and neither will I, because this place isn't for people like us. I mean, like, fuck Dirk trying to purposefully alienate and isolate Tersey, but, like, this is a good read. She would actually do that, and it hurts. I mean, because, like... Hi, Sneak Cat. Welcome. We're being sad. Yeah, man. Dirk, I have no idea what you're talking about. You'll see, if you come with us. Hey, here's an idea. Why don't you bring him with you? Him? Yeah. You saved his body for a reason, right? Maybe it doesn't have to be the end for him. Endings are kind of overrated anyway. I'll give you some time to think about it. My door is open, but not for long. And I do give her the time. I ease the throttle back a bit, just enough so that I'm not whispering directly into her ear when she slips the wallet out of her pocket. She clutches it so hard in her palm that she's digging dents into the leather and bites her lip. The gentle breeze is all she can hear. It's louder than my voice, and in some understated way, makes my case for me more persuasively. She knows I'm right. So, because you're not used to speaking that long. Yeah, that's the D&D mood. You almost died 3 times. That's also the D&D mood. Damn. There are other options. But, yeah, I mean, from Tersey's position, she's just, like, feels so isolated here that, fuck it, why not just fly through space to create another fucking universe? Like... But yeah, I hope your session went well today. Other than the almost dying parts. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, I didn't catch on to the fact that Tersey went with them until I saw people saying it after the fact, and I was like, did she do that? Is that what happened there? I did not pick up on that little hint. Okay, so 12, 16. We're gonna do it take 5. Because we did not take a break at midnight. And, yeah, we'll go back to chapter 37. Hello, we are back. I have been keeping up with your retelling of your D&D story in chat, Cat, and that is quite a journey. I'm glad that you had fun today. My goodness. Okay. Whew. So, I'm hoping we can get at least 2 more chapters done today. $37. We make a quick stop back at Rose's apartment. She understandably wants to pack a few things before we leave this planet forever. Not a whole lot, mind you. It's not like she'll be needing many clothes from now on. Oh, come on. Can we keep our minds out of the gutter for more than 2 fucking seconds? That's not what I meant. She'll have to leave her current body soon if she's going to survive the absolute realization of her ultimate self. The new body I've made for her won't have much of her usual ensembles. Won't have much use for her usual ensembles. That's all I was saying. Do you really need all this crap? Rose is sprawled out on her bed, resting. It's pretty much all she can bring herself to do these days, but in spite of her physically incapacitated state, her stare tracks me intently as I root through her belongings at her behest. No, I don't need it, but I'd like to have it, some of it, just the important things, the memories that matter the most. We're going to make new memories. We'll have countless millennia ahead of us, the entire breadth of infinity. The past 7 years on this planet are cosmically irrelevant. When we get where we're going, you won't even want to remember this benighted rock anymore. Rose opens her mouth to launch into what would surely lead to a belabored and cyclical argument, but she doesn't have the strength. She groans instead. I know it frustrates her. It frustrates me, too. That's why I want to get out of here as soon as possible. I let my voice soften. Rose, everything is going to be fine. Rose is a hoarder and she's valid. Yeah. Your problem was to wait for them to finish speaking and they figured it out first. Okay, yeah. But, yeah, I don't need it, but I want it. It's special. Yeah, I have a hoarding problem, too. I have so many fucking convention booklets and, like, packaging off of things that I ordered from overseas and, like, oh, just complete fucking garbage. Looking at all your amiibos. Yeah. I mean, like, the amiibos I don't consider a hoarding thing for myself anyway, because I don't buy a lot of them. But I do kind of have a lot. Yeah, I have most of the Animal Crossing collection. I did see a couple of Animal Crossing ones there, but they were all like $30 and up, and I was like, I'm not paying that much for Cap'n. You know what I mean? I'm not paying that much for Timmy and Tommy. Like, no. You really want Rover? Yeah, Rover's cool. Yeah, that's one of the ones that I'm missing too. They made the denizen angry. So that's probably not a great idea. And the consorts. Yep. Okay. Give the emeralds to the villagers to get a map and leave. Yeah. Sounds like an okay plan. Hopefully they will have... Oh, Minecraft. Yeah, see, I thought that sounded kind of Minecrafty. I've still been playing far too much Splatoon. And Stardew. Not as much Stardew, though. Reasonable amounts of Stardew. And way too much Splatoon. She pleads, affecting an exaggerated whine that sounds unintentionally authentic with how weak she is. Rose has really leaned into this particular line of irony, hamming it up with the dad jokes as if she derives some bizarre gratification from the fact of our relation. It's apparently an endless source of amusement for her. I don't get it, and I don't really care to speculate. I sigh and return to picking through her jewelry. The tactic fucking works on me, I guess. Endless source of amusement. Yeah. I'm gonna sneeze. Hold up. Never mind. Is this the thing you were talking about? This rock rope? Rock rope? Rose lifts herself up barely enough to see. The effort to do just that seems to take everything out of her. She collapses heavily after she gets a look at what I'm holding up, huffing in annoyance. First of all, the word for that object is a necklace. Second of all, does that look purple to you? Don't patronize me while I'm dying. Oh, thank you, Odd. I can't make heads or tails of any of this shit. It's a big pile of shiny garbage. If you're so concerned about it, why don't you come over here and pick out what you want to pack yourself? 'Cause she's sick and you're a condescending fuckhead. I expect at least an aggravated retort, but nothing comes. I glance back and see that her eyes have grown glassy and distant, like two round-cut amethysts. Her smile seems to do less to fondness than stupefaction. The circles under her eyes are dark, and her head is cushioned on an arm bent beneath it. Keeping her eyes trained on me seems to be the only energy she's able to expend anymore. The omniscient sickness is wreaking havoc on her. I should hurry up. I'm glad I never had to feel whatever she's going through. Not everyone can be built like me. It just means I carry a greater responsibility to take care of those more fragile, especially the ones most important to me. I think you're doing that wrong. I go through the motions of picking things out of her drawers, just grabbing stuff at random, because, like I said, it doesn't matter. When she next speaks, it seems her mind has wandered. Her voice is as distant as her expression. Are you sure Kanaya is going to be okay with this? Oh no, is these the paragraphs where Dirk just spends ages fucking gaslighting Kanaya? I slide a drawer shut and shove whatever it is I'm holding into the bag without looking. There's no need to worry about that. How will we break it to her? You're not well enough to stress over this. You should just let me handle it. I can make her understand. What's happening here is the best thing for everybody. She'll come to see that someday. Cheese on hot dogs is a federal crime. I have not tried cheese on hot dogs before, so I cannot say yes or no. I'm usually a boring old ketchup-only person. This is making me really want hot dogs now, though. God, I'm fucking hungry. Rose breathes in deeply and exhales. She allows herself to close her eyes and tries to forget these troubling thoughts about the wife she's about to leave. Speaking of which, Kanaya is on her way back to the apartment. She's blocks away, frantically running in the direction of this building. She's a pretty fast runner, but she'll have to run faster than that if she wants to bust in here and cause a scene before we go. She senses she isn't going to make it up here on time and slows to a stop. She takes a moment to consider how she's going to play this. She's beside herself with rage. Her phone is out, poised to call someone, probably me, but she needs to gather her thoughts and figure out what to say. She knows she's been played by now. She's sure of it, so has to think of exactly what to say to me to stop this from happening, or if nothing else, delay it long enough to force a confrontation. At least, these are all the things she's telling herself right now. Someone had cheese on a hot dog and then just never ate a hot dog again. I mean, if it's really that bad, I can't blame them. I like the hot dog conversation because it's a lot better than what I'm reading out loud right now. Anyway, this is painful. Let's read some painful pain. They're only thoughts, after all. Things she's decided she believes after neurotically parsing certain patterns of behavior from me and her life. I guess from her ignorant alien position, it's reasonable to be suspicious that something shady is going on, but is it really? Is she sure she's not misunderstanding something? Could she have misread the signals or falsely assigned nefarious intent to a perfectly innocent series of events? As her breathing slows and her calm is gradually restored, suddenly she isn't so sure. Maybe she's got this all wrong. She's right! She is correct, and you are literally the worst fucking piece of shit to ever be a piece of shit. If you want my take, I think she's gotten this all wrong. That's right, Kanaya. You have been getting this all wrong since the very beginning. Your head is spinning with doubt now. Why were you running so fast? Why is your heart beating like this? You find a nearby bench on the sidewalk and sit down to really reflect on this. To question everything you've been getting so worked up over. The thing is, what you're suddenly questioning isn't so much about whether your suspicions that Rose and I have been sneaking around behind your back are wrong, per se. It's that you're starting to wonder if they're right, but you've been the one who was wrong to object. No! This revelation hits you like a kick in the chest. It's heavy, it hurts, but only for a moment. Then you find it's like a weight lifting off your shoulders to finally face the truth. If Rose has been spending more time with me than you, if she's realizing she resonates more with me due to our natural similarities and finds my presence more rewarding than yours, then what does that say about you, Kanaya? Doesn't it confirm what you've always suspected deep down? That as flattering as it was that someone like Rose could give you the time of day, and as nice as it made you feel for as long as she's willing to put up with you, the truth is, on some level, you always understood you were never good enough for her. You piece of absolute fucking garbage. You manipulative, gaslighting, abusive bully piece of shit. You want Dirk to die now. Me too. Pale green tears are flowing down your face. You have no idea how long you've been crying. You just noticed only now because you finally decided to confront the harsh reality of your marriage. It was always an illusion. It was not. Rose loves Kanaya so fucking much. They love each other. Both of them love each other so fucking much. Ugh. Croissant arms. Yeah, we're gonna murder tonight. Like, it's up, it's happening, it's hip and cool. Dirk dies by our hands. this evening, on this very day. Goodbye. You put your face in your hands and sob. The catharsis is relieving and bittersweet. Years of suppressed insecurities melt away. You're finally free of this. Alone, yes, but free. And so is she. You love her with all of your heart, and because of that, you genuinely want what's best for her, whatever will make her happy. And knowing this, that truly all you ever hoped for was to help her be happy, to be the best person she could be, it brings you comfort. It kills the grief into a dull ache. One that you'll be grateful to keep for the rest of your life, because it will always remind you of what you had with her. But this isn't what necessarily will make Rose happy. She is being fucking manipulated the same way that Kanaya is. And I am shitting. Oh, a ferret and a crow. That sounds like a very nice Lucis. The tears have stopped flowing. You feel them drying on your face in the cool breeze. Your eyes are clear and focused. You know what you must do now. There is no crisis. There is nothing in which to intervene. Nothing to stop. You tap your phone and hold it up to your ear. There is so much to stop right now. And this whole conversation, got me in tears the first time I read it. Not just sad tears, angry tears, because fuck this guy. Rose? Rose, sweetheart. I'm so... Rose, it's okay. I know everything. You do? Yes. I understand what's going on now. I just want you to know how happy you made me. Oh, Kanaya. I won't be long. I just need to say a couple of things, while I can, before I get too emotional about this. I finally get it. I know you and he belong together. I really hope you will both be happy, wherever you're going and whatever you decide to do. I will always be thinking of you, and be grateful for the life we had together. I'll always remember you, Kanaya. Thank you so much for understanding. I didn't know how to... I thought surely you would be... Rose turns her face into the bed to muffle her sobs. I'm holding the phone to her ear. I move the phone quickly to follow the movement of her head. It's fine, really, sweetheart. I love you. I love you too. Goodbye, Rose. Before Kanaya hangs up, I quickly bring the phone up to my ear to say a few words. Hey, Kanaya. Thanks for getting in touch before we take off. We both really appreciate that. Oh, sure. I'll take very good care of her. I promise. Thank you, Dirk. Hey, one last thing. Before you head back to the Brooding Caverns or wherever, think you could do me a favor? Of course. You've probably heard by now that Jade is sick. In a coma or something? She's in the hospital. Yes. I've got an antidote for that. Medicine of sorts. If you give it to her, it should wake her up almost immediately. I left it here on the counter in your apartment. You can come pick it up and bring it to her at your leisure. I see. Yes, I can do that. Awesome. Well, later. So that's that. Oh my god, their whole... Yeah, I know, right? Thanks, I hate it. I hang up and toss the phone on the floor. She'll be here soon, so it's time to wrap this up. Rose is exhausted. Emotionally, physically, the works. She's nodding off, but struggling to stay awake. She doesn't want to miss anything important, but there's nothing left to do here. There's no reason to put any more strain on her than necessary. I pull out a syringe full of the same stuff as usual. Worked wonders on Jake, then Jade. Should knock Rose out well enough for the long ride ahead. I inject it into her arm, and her head drops down almost instantly. I pick her up and carry her like a sleeping princess. It slips my mind to bring along her bag of stuff. I walk through the sliding glass door, open it, and we fly away. 7. Still don't know what these titles are for. How long have I been streaming this, and I still don't know what these fucking titles are for? Planet full of pools of blood. Cool. Yeah, it didn't slip his mind. You passive-aggressive fuck who's been going on and on about how she's not gonna need any of this. It's all garbage the whole time that he was helping her pack. I wonder why you would have left that behind. Ugh. Okay. This will likely be the last one for tonight, because it's getting a bit late. Oh, excuse me. Yeah. Getting a bit late. Yes, I am yawning. $38. But before we get completely out of Dodge, there's one more trifling matter I'd better take care of. It's a big day, but not one my dear brother's son and his irascible boy wife, right? This is kind of a big yikes. The way that he talks about their whole, like, what the fuck? I read something about, like, this being, like, a term that's, like, tossed around a lot in, like, incel communities, but, like, unironically. As, like, what was it? It was, like, as some sort of derogatory term for, like, a husband who does, like, the housework and takes care of the kids and stuff. So, yeah, I gotta say, because there's some use of kind of like incel terminology in the narrative of Candy as well. And I'm just kind of like, don't like that. Like, I really would like to keep the incel terminology away from my Homestuck. Thanks. Gonna act like a shithead, die like a shithead. Can be strangled to death by Acquiesce. Yeah, so like this whole... don't like that. Do not like that. Anyway. Dave and Karkat are both squatting in their shameful bunker of defeat, all the curtains drawn shut so that the sunlight cannot disturb an atmosphere that was carefully cultivated to facilitate their sourpuss moping. The only illumination is emanating from their television screen, which broadcasts the bright and sunny scene of Jane's inauguration. She stands at the podium in front of a crowd of thousands of her adoring fans and subjects, belting out one killer speech. I wrote it, so you know it's good. But the mood in here is heavy. I think they've been coasting on denial for a while, but today is the day they have to finally accept that there are no takebacks and no do-overs. Jane is the president, and that's that. Karkat's all balled up on the couch as he stares hatefully at the televised production. He doesn't look up when Dave walks back into the room carrying 2 massive bottles of liquor. Right, this is the Dave Cat chapter where the things happen. Hey, wanna get drunk? Huh? I went and got all this fucking booze. You got booze? Yeah, check it. You actually went and got it. Like, you literally left the house and exchanged currency with a real live person to obtain alcohol. I walked into the boozery all pigeon-toed and embarrassed, like some fucking hooch noob. Was all like, yo, what's the most pathetic thing you got to drink yourself to death with? The boozery? Passed right by the boxed wine, the bagged wine, the shots they put in those little blister packs by the register, the wine with the little sippy cups with the disposable plastic straws and, like, juice for fucking babies. I made that last one up. I don't actually know anything about alcohol. Anyway, 2 plastic soda bottles of vodka coolers seem to be about where we're at right now. I don't think that's what this is. I think that's what this is anyway. I don't really care how long. I don't really care as long as it gets the job done. I decided that I'm an alcoholic now. Dave, no. I've always found inebriation to be distasteful, really. Never understood the personal appeal of it, and after seeing how indelicately its effects have touched the other members of our family, I can't help but feel like it's a waste of everybody's fucking time. I'd have half a mind to tell him to dump it all in the sink if I weren't cutting it down to the wire as it is. But you know what? Go the fuck ahead, bro. Might help him ease those ridiculous inhibitions for once in his life. Slide the stick out of his ass. Maybe slide something else up there instead if you catch my drift. But I don't want to... that was... Whoa, suddenly penis joke. But I don't want to get ahead of myself here. At this stage, anything could happen. Dave sits beside Carcat on the couch and sets the alcohol down on the table in front of him. He sinks heavily into the cushioning with a sigh. Dinosaurs. I look back down at chat and suddenly there's dinosaurs. Yeah. I too have never understood the appeal of inebriation, but I wouldn't go as far as to say it's distasteful, because that's really obnoxious. Have you now? Yeah. Never too late to develop a substance abuse problem. I've been thinking about it for a while, and it seems like it's time for me to finally get on the wagon of not being on the wagon. That's really great, Dave. Thanks. Anyway, how's the inauguration? You having a good time dwelling on every tiny little factor that cumulatively led to our electoral defeat? And how if just one thing had been different, it would have been us up there? Ugh. You and I both know nothing mattered in that campaign but Jake's fucking speech. Yeah. I mean, like, I just keep imagining what would have happened if that absurd Rube Goldberg machine of life-ruining humiliation had been stopped at any point. Maybe just being backstabbed by his endorsement alone was something we could have recovered from with some rigorous counter-campaigning. But what if I had been fast enough to cut him off before he'd even said anything? What if I hadn't accidentally fallen on him on the stage when I was rushing over there to stop him? What if he hadn't freaked out like I set off fireworks next to a NAM vet and started trying to fucking scrum me? What if I just backed away from his punch with my legs like a normal person instead of warping the flow of time to escape, causing him to become so startled he shit his pants? What if I hadn't... This particular brand of, like, humiliation that they seem to be ascribing to Jake a lot, I don't like it. Yeah. Yeah. What if I hadn't gotten so visibly grossed out by the smell that even the people watching on TV could tell what had happened? What if he hadn't started sobbing when the audience in the front row started throwing up? What if he, like, this is, like, I know that Homestuck likes to play the exaggeration game, but, like, this is too much. This is too much in my books. Oh, yes. By the way, yeah, she is valid. I agree with Odd. 9-minute bathroom break is absolutely valid. I was talking to her dad. Yeah, sometimes things just happen. What if we'd had better security and stopped that lady from running on stage during the fracas and announcing that Jake has been dodging paying child support for their 3 kids? Oof. Well, that's a constant across both all timelines. Yikes. Like, what was that line? It wasn't that bad, you think? Karkat falls into a vacant 1,000-yard stare. Yeah, see, that's why I'm an alcoholic now. Want a drink? I have sympathy, I really do. It's tough to devote so much time and effort to something, come so close to tasting victory, just to have it snatched out of your grasp at the final instant. I might even feel bad about it in any other circumstance. But this is how things had to be. It's better this way. They know that. At least Karkat certainly does. Train. Yeah. Oh my god. If I'm being perfectly fucking honest, I'm glad I lost. I never wanted to fucking win in the first place. Dude, come on. No, I'm being serious. I'm not even doing some sour grapes I never wanted to win in the first place because I'm a sore loser trying to delude myself into thinking I don't care sort of thing. Obviously I fucking care, since now the planet is going to be completely ruined by this jumped up fascist dictator who has every intention of gradually genociding my species into non-existence before my very eyes. But I cannot fucking think of a single thing in the universe I wanted to do less than be the stupid fucking president. Thanks, human Obama. Call back to thanks, Obama. It's thanks, human Obama. Wait, was there a troll Obama? I'm the fucking troll Obama, remember? Karkat, you would have been so much more than Obama. God damn if that isn't the most romantic fucking thing I've ever heard. If Karkat had anything resembling a spine, he'd turn to Dave with those big, sparkling shoujo eyes and finally open his tsundere heart to consummating their painfully obvious and mutually reciprocated passion. But he doesn't, so he gives a non-committal little sniff and turns back to the inauguration instead. I know, right? He's just like, I'm the troll Obama. Like, we talked about this. And Dirk with his fucking anime terms. Obviously, I've got an agenda here. It's pretty clear to me what these guys want out of this relationship, despite the fact that both of them being bottoms evidently... Oh my... Sorry. I just had to take a minute to, like... I forgot that was there, and then it took me a surprise. Oh my god. Like, Dirk is being super fucking obnoxious about that whole thing, but like, I hate it, but it's also hilarious, but I fucking hate it. It's pretty clear to me what these guys want out of this relationship, despite the fact that both of them being bottoms evidently makes it impossible for them to pass whatever last ludicrous psychological obstacle stands between them and non-stop animalistic fucking. Jesus Christ. Dave and Karkat forever doomed to bottom for each other for eternity. I mean, like, yeah, Dirk is just... The fact that Dirk is saying these things in this way makes it incredibly uncomfortable. But, like, I mean, they are low-key, like, both bottoms. Like, it's just fact. I've let this go on for long enough. These stooges clearly need some help. Hey, how about you don't mind manipulate anybody? I could insist that they just fucking go for it already, using the methods available to me. I'd rather not. There are certain boundaries I'm not inclined to cross, primarily in service to the emotional integrity of my friends' respective personal arcs. The little moments like these don't mean anything if they're coming from me, do they? Like, oh, there's certain boundaries I'm not inclined to cross. Well, like, you've deeply violated just about everyone you know by, like, every form of your fucking mind control. Despite being a cat. Oh, no. Yeah, like, there are certain boundaries I'm not inclined to cross, except he's been, like, aggressively manipulating Jake. And Jake's romantic feelings this whole fucking time. So, like, that's such hypocritical bullshit. As such, insistence isn't the tool I'd prefer. Persuasion is the one I'd reach for. And in a case like this, I can't imagine it's going to take that much. Yeah, anyway, these little moments don't mean anything if they're coming from me, do they? Like, even just your involvement in this at all and your push is coming from you. Like, as much as, like, I, like, in one hand, enjoy the catharsis of finally canon Dave Cat, on the other hand, all of this Dirk involvement still kind of sours it for me. So I'm just gonna go back to pretending that Dave Cat got past all of this bullshit in canon, because it makes no fucking sense for them to have ended up like this. Again, epilogues, not entirely canon. I'm taking what I want from them and running with those parts and leaving everything else. Yeah, boundaries Dirk is not inclined to cross. The small fence he's built around his shame and respect for other people and common sense, which he's currently aiming a bazooka at. Honestly, yeah. Like, he just has completely lost all sense of boundaries. Yeah. They fall into another silence that's more comfortable than it has any right to be. The crowd is really going nuts for Jane now, since she's hit on one of the best parts of my speech. She's just blasting the fuck off about how good the economy is going to get. I can feel Dave's teeth grinding all the way down to the narrative fabric of reality. Dave reaches out for the booze. It's past time to get wasted, he thinks. But Karkat is starting to realize how much all of Dave's efforts mean to him. It's really welling up inside him now. He's so emotional about it that he can't help but say something. Oh, right, this fucking disaster conversation. Reminds me of a lot of Dave Cat fics in AUs where they fall into a similar step. Shit's bad and they both... Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, hey, part of this, you know, is kind of based off of some common fic tropes. Like, that's kind of part of what Candy is. Like, you see that a lot in Candy, where, like, because it's like the pattern with them is that meat, like, it starts off meat, but by the very end of it, they do start bringing in more of the candy, because just meat does not make for a very interesting story. You need balance, right? Even just a touch of candy made it more tipped that scale just a little, because, like, this scene here with the fanfic trope of them getting together and all that, that's pretty Candy. And Candy, you know, it starts off super, super sweet. Oh, everything's gonna be so great. We're gonna be so happy. But by the end of it, there's genocide. So, you know. And you know, like, there's a lot of fic tropes in Candy. Like, the coffee shop dates and the evil character being redeemed and the you know, everybody's getting married and having babies, and they're naming them after, you know, ridiculous people, and there's all this other stuff. But yeah, so this feels pretty candy-y. Relying on fic tropes, yeah. Dave telling Dirk to shove the fuck off. That's a good moment. I love that moment. Oh, yeah. So yeah, I mean, like, this is, like, all of that said, even the stuff earlier about Dirk's involvement souring it a little bit for me. This is probably one of my favorite chapters in all of Meat. I'm pretty sure my number one is, like, just the Dave Roxy conversation where he talks about the fucking stages of no homo and the gay hot pocket. But this is definitely up there as well. This is a good one. Yeah, these two are just such fucking disasters. God. On the subject of that, though, just as a side note, I want to see more disaster Rose and Kanaya fics. Because every single fucking fic, they're so poised and elegant. Like, y'all know they can do dumb fucking shit like this too, right? Y'all know they're not, you know, the impervious, glorious, beautiful, elegant, eloquent image of sapphicness. Like, they can be damn messes too, and I want more of that, okay? Rose committing a murder. Oh god. Yes. No, I'm really excited to see the rest of your fic. Hey, you mentioning it gives me another opportunity to link it in the description of this video for, like, the millionth time. So now that's going to be linked in the description again. But yeah, like, I've been, like, I feel like that's the reason why I gravitate to Dave Cat fics more, even, you know, because, like, I love Rosemary so fucking much. So much. And I have for way longer than I've liked Dave Cat. But, like, there's just, you know, I like the fact that, like, a lot of scenes in Dave Cat fics, they take it to the raw and messy. And Rosemary is always, like, about how they're trying to keep up their images for each other, and how they're playing all these mind games, and, like, they do shit like that. They do. But, like, you can't tell me they don't also have messy ass moments. You feel me? Rose is a big horny motherfucker. Oh my god, yeah, I'm really looking forward to reading the rest of your fic. But yeah, Rosemary is so good when they feel like real people, and Dave Cat has written like real people a lot, but Rosemary, a lot of fics don't get past the appearances. Like, y'all, I need that so badly. Fire cat named Pyre. I think that's good. That works very well. But yeah, anyway, just while we were on the subject, I thought I would yell about that because I've been trying to find more like Rosemary Long fic. But I mean, first of all, it's hard to find Willowa, or however you pronounce that shit out loud, long fic at all. Like, every fucking Rosemary fic is just background Rosemary and foreground, like, main ship Dave Cat. Which is how I started reading Dave Cat in the first place. I was looking for Rosemary, and then I found an interesting looking Dave Cat fic, and I was like, well, I don't know if I really like this ship, but this concept looks interesting, and then I was like, oh shit. Yeah, it's just fucking Eridan's quirk. Oh, God. But, yes, please write Disaster Rose. The world needs more Disaster Rose. Okay. I feel like I've taken this tangent a little too far. Simply in that it's 10 past 1, and we're not even halfway through this chapter yet. Okay, right, so emotional about it he can't help but say something. Hey! Dave stops with his arm outstretched. His gaze turns to meet Karkat's, but Karkat can't bear to hold the eye contact for long. Looking at Dave is like staring straight at the sun. He's awfully handsome, isn't he? Then again, crawling out of a primo gene pool does have its benefits. Oh, Dirk, you're just tooting your own fucking horn. Shut up. Irks me is that everything feels too, like, weirdly unreal. Yeah. It's like, yeah, like, there's a particular brand of, like, everything having to be elegant and sweet that I find is in a lot of those types of fics. Either that, or it's just, like, aggressively horny. Hasn't had the chance to develop like those ships. Yeah, like, they don't get the same amount of development because not as many people, like, do the thing. It's so frustrating. Respect them. Yeah, like full respect to the horny, but, like, yeah, you know, angst or turmoil, or just not being perfect all the time. Yeah. But they make up in the end. Yeah. Like, yeah, just not being perfect all the time. You know? I mean, I guess it's easier to do stuff like that with long fic, but there's so few long, like, it all just feeds back into itself. Make mistakes, get messy, have an adventure. Yeah, like, I've got one of my faves in mind. It's a Dave cat, and I'm just like, why couldn't they have Rosemary but like that? Anyway. Yeah, buddy, what's up? It's like, I think I've mentioned it before, and I probably have. Although in hindsight, maybe I shouldn't have. But, like, I'm not gonna link it for that reason. But I will say it's the oh shit, what is it called? It's The Birth of Tragedy Out of the Spirit of Music by Cory Bantic Gloom. It's explicit because it has a few like smutty kind of like chapters in it. So if you are under the age of 18, please do not go and find that fic. But it's that one. It's over 200,000 words, I think. Yeah. It's good. There's dark, it gets very angsty at certain points. But so fucking, it's good shit. I've read it like twice, I think, maybe 3 times. And the fucking epilogue makes me cry every time. But yeah. Oh, you haven't read many because of that unreal feeling. Yeah. Yeah. I just, you know, I like the messy fics. Like, give me that fucking drama. That was actually the first long fic that I read that I got super, like, invested in. Another good Dave Cat one that's also long fic, but that isn't explicit, that's also much longer. I think it's close to like 700,000 words, including all the side fics, is MC Escher. That's my favorite MC. It is... Yeah, it's really, really fabulous. And there's some background Rosemary that gets a little more light shone on it than some other fics with background Rosemary, but like MC Escher is phenomenal. It's fucking massive, but it's so worth every fucking word. Yeah, it took me like a month to... It took me a whole ass month to read the whole thing. I just... Hey, don't worry about it. You don't have to explain yourself to me. I get it. It makes sense. I'd always felt the same way, kind of. Like about all my shit with Spurb and whatever, the reluctant hero's journey. That feeling where you're being dragged along to be a kind of guy everyone is saying you have to be, but you've never felt like there's any way you could really become. Where every second you feel so sick with your own self-doubt and fear that you can't bear to imagine the future. And you think, why me? Even though you know it can't be anyone but you, and that's why you do it. Yeah. Lol. I wasn't trying to explain myself, though. I just wanted to thank you. Huh? For what? Karkat's eyes drift from the TV to the floor. The slightest of smiles tugs at the corners of his mouth. He feels something warm inside of his chest. It feels right. It's something he needs to say. For everything. Even if we didn't win, I'm glad we tried. I'm glad we went through this together. Me too. More than anything, you believe in me in a way nobody ever has before. More than I've ever been able to believe in myself. And I've never really felt like this before. Felt like what? I mean, like, you know, it's not like I've ever had friends before, people I care about, but when people tell me they care about me, on some level it's hard for me to really buy it. They can list whatever justifications they have for liking me, and it all feels like bullshit. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? You can't really expect me to believe you seriously think this about me. There's no way you actually see me that way. You just feel bad for me. You're talking down to me like I'm some sort of pathetic wiggler who needs to be coddled. Or you're just imagining whatever way you wish I would be. Some person who's better and smarter and stronger and kinder and more valuable than the person I really am. I can never understand why anyone I care about would ever waste their fucking time on me. But with you... Karkat draws a breath and curls up on himself. His instinct is to pull back, but he's fighting it now. He needs to see this one through to the end. But with you, it makes sense, I guess. When you say something nice to me, I'm like, yeah, okay, that's comprehensible. I see how you got from point A to point B. I can know you the way I do and think about who you are, and I can understand why you'd want someone like me beside you. I don't have to wonder what's missing. You're on my level, and I'm on yours. I believe that you see me in front of you the way I actually am, for better or worse, and still like me anyway. So even though it's still hard for me to believe in myself a lot of the time, I believe in you, so I don't need to. Aww. So what you're saying is you believe in me who believes in you? Dave, please. Okay, is this a movie reference? I remember someone saying that this line is a movie reference. Okay, let me just, like, really quickly go and Google the... Uh-oh, the Karkat feelings are hurting tonight. You never got to this part because of Dirk and you're crying now. Oh my god. Oh my god, it's a fucking Gurren Lagann quote. It is a fucking anime reference. That, yeah. Now I understand why people were laughing so hard at that reference, because it's fucking Gurren Lagann. Actually, I think, if my eyes do not deceive me, I think it's also a Kamina quote, like, specifically, which fucking of course it is. God damn it. Yeah, kind of. Fuck, man, that's kind of deep. I know. These two. So, yeah, that's what I've never really felt before, and I'm glad come on, you're so close. I'm glad you're my friend, Dave. Oh, for the love of God. This is practically slapstick at this point. My friend? That was the most excruciatingly overblown and socially maladapted love confession I've ever had the displeasure of witnessing, including my own, and he still managed to fumble it into obscurity at the last moment. The guy was barreling in for an unimpeded touchdown and took a hard left straight into the friend zone. God. It's not like Dave is stupid. He's picking up on the subtext. It's just Karkat's cop-out that's filling him with doubt. It was a little too obviously sentimental. So obvious that maybe the friend thing was a deliberate warning. Maybe relationships aren't a thing Karkat can really do. Maybe if Dave crosses the line, he'll ruin everything. Better this excruciating liminal space, something more than friendship but not quite love, than nothing at all. I look Dave right in his mind's eye and tell him to cut it the fuck out. He wants it, you want it, so just go for it, my man. It's now or never. Oh, same. I feel... oh my god. I feel every brain cell in my immortal body begin to perish in real time. Not gonna lie, I'm pretty sure this is one of the best lines in the whole fucking epilogue. Like, that's low-key up there with John, please don't be a bitch. I'm unwell, remember? Oh my god. This is why it was so fun. Yeah. Dave, you cannot actually be that bad at this. How the hell are you walking around with my jeans and still acting like this? 'Cause you're a fucking dumbass too, Dirk. Shut the fuck up. Get off your high horse. Like, you just finished saying, including my own, like, you know that your own fucking love confession was awful. So, look, even you can manage to top this guy. You've got it easy, dude. He's gonna open up for you like you just rolled up on a Denny's at 3 a.m. with all the boys in a Groupon. Oh my god. Oh my god. You can do it right here on the couch if you want. Dave scrunches up his face a little like he's constipated. Okay, maybe I'm getting a bit worked up. I need to dial it back. Is something wrong? Huh? No. Sorry, I just had an absolutely insane train of thought that kind of sent me for a loop. What? No, it's extremely better that I don't tell you. I kind of forgot what we were talking about because it was so awful. You were talking about Karkat's feelings? He just dropped some touching-ass bombs about believing in you, believing in him, or whatever. So, you should really get to the root of where this is all coming from. Oh, right. Yeah, all that shit you said about us being friends and on the same level or whatever. Yeah, I feel the same way, basically. Or like, well, what? I'm not sure that I like, go on. I'm kind of getting the feeling that maybe there's a level to what we're thinking that isn't entirely coming across in words. And since we don't have the right words, we aren't getting to the right actions either. What are you talking about? Like, maybe we feel the same way about certain things, but what we're saying and what we're feeling, maybe those aren't exactly the same thing. And maybe we should what? Maybe it's time to talk about that. Well, I guess this is progress. That? Yeah, like how when you say we're friends, what does that mean? That we're friends? Yeah, but is that it? Just friends? I'm looking ahead and I'm just like... Carcat looks like a deer caught in the headlights. Of course not. You're my best friend. Oh, I see. God fucking damn it. I've literally been decapitated and that was less unbearable than this. I don't understand it. I just want you to be happy, man. Why can't you make anything easy for yourself? Well, okay then. Whatever. I kind of don't have time for this shit. The gloves are coming off. The anime ninja training weights are history. It's time to get down to business. Right, and this is where it's like, oh, there's certain lines that I won't cross. That's bullshit. You have no concept of boundaries. You look into Carcat's eyes. You see that twinkle? That's devotion, you unbelievably dense neuron star of a dumb shit. It's sparkling like a visit from your fairy fucking godmother. That shit is pure and true. A supernova of all your hopes and dreams swirling together like a radially effervescing kaleidoscope of more hot boy peckers than you could ever imagine. Ah, fuck. Dave? But you aren't imagining any peckers other than the one right in front of you. Carcat's probably quite modest and Oh, Jesus Christ. I fucking hate this line, though. Like, in the middle of all this hilarious stuff, it's like, what is going on with this sentence, Dirk? What the fuck? Effervescent. I know, right? Carcat's probably quite modest and feminine alien penis. I just hate those words together. Is the only one you've thought about in years. Suddenly, you can't even comprehend how it is you've gone so long without kissing him. You want to so badly. It would be so easy, and you know he wouldn't turn you away. Carcat, You lift a trembling hand and slowly close the scant distance between you to brush your thumb against Carcat's cheek. He freezes in place, terrified. Carcat's lips part, his breath held. His eyes are wide with anticipation. He looks beautiful like this, you think. All you have to do is press your mouth to his, and he'll finally know he's yours. You start to lean in. Carcat closes his eyes and relaxes into your hand. He's ready. It's happening. It's fucking happening. Wait, fuck. What? What are you doing? Oh my god. I'm throwing my hands up in the air in the middle of the other shit I'm doing because this sucks just that much. What's wrong? Did I do something? No, I just can't. Shit. It just feels like... It feels like nothing, Dave. Don't worry about it. What the fuck is going on? This feels really off. I don't know. I just keep having thoughts I know I'd never think. Gloves are coming off. You're fucking up, Dirk. Oh, come the fuck on. I'm going to have an aneurysm. He's hearing me but not listening to me. This dude has such a titanium grasp on his own born-again virginity that not even the literal hand of God can compel him to kiss his own goddamn boyfriend. What is up with this wording? What is that supposed to mean? I have no idea. I'm sorry. Dave pulls away. Karkat looks like he's about to throw up. I'm about to throw up, if I'm being perfectly honest. I don't know what to do at this point. He doesn't know it's me, but he's fighting my influence with every ounce of strength he's got. If I push any further, things could get messy, epistemologically speaking. I could try more of a backdoor approach and nudge them towards the sauce, but I don't know if even that would help at this stage, and my timetable for direct physical intervention is fairly limited. I take a deep breath and get myself under control. My light psychological intrusions may have only made things worse. Invested as I am in the outcome of this encounter, I know forcing their hand would be a mistake. If Dave passes that threshold not of his own will, it'll be a hollow victory anyway. There's nothing I can do but settle down, step it back, and trust my boy to bring it home. The gears are turning in Dave's head. He knows he stands at a precipice, and what he decides here could mean everything. Maybe that forced kiss seemed wrong, but he knows what he feels doesn't. He can't deny that. And he can't just forget the fact that when he went for it, Karkat wasn't pulling away. At the end of the day, he knows what the truth is. Really, he always has. Dave meets Karkat's eyes in a rare moment of clarity. It's then, I think, that they both finally realize what's been obvious to everyone else all along. With a measured motion, Dave pulls the shades off of his face. If Karkat was stunned before, he's even more stunned now. The privilege of a Strider eye moment is about the most earth-shattering experience a young man will ever have in his life. For once, neither of them have anything stupid to say. All they have is an electric connection that is no longer possible to ignore. Dave brings his hand back up to Karkat's cheek in a gesture much more confident than the last. He's not rushing anything this time. He's only doing what feels right and taking each second at a time. Karkat's tension begins to dissipate from his body in stages. His stiff shoulders drop, his guarded expression relaxes, and when he covers Dave's hand with his own, he's not shaking at all. Dave helps Karkat slip his hand from the side of his face to cup the nape of his neck. It's a tender, steadying touch. Dave applies only the slightest of pressure to draw him forward, and Karkat follows his lead. They're so close that Dave can feel Karkat's shallow breath ghosting over his skin. Karkat's eyes are shimmering and wet as they flutter closed, moisture beading in his thick eyelashes. There's another eyelash description. What is it with this author and eyelashes? His tongue darts out to wet his lips. All that's left is just one more step. Just one final inch, and it's over. They both move to close the distance at the same time. There's a second where both of them freeze like that, still in the intimate contact. Nothing but the warmth of each other's bodies and the dawning realization of a significant boundary crossed. Dave draws in a sharp breath, lets his lip part, and just a little more. That's it. Yes! Wait! Dave, don't linger. Some lines of stress appear on his face. He's struggling with something. No, Dave, don't fucking do this. He's grinding his teeth, putting both hands to his temples. Beads of sweat dot his brow. This is so fucking unreal. Holy shit, Dave, if you do so much as get the fuck out of my head and just let me do this myself. Snaps for that, Dave. I would have yelled louder, but my mom's in bed. Dirk is going too hard on his bro and Caliborn counterparts here. Oof, yeah. Dave's precision just eyelid twitch in solidarity with Dave's frustration here. Dude, come here. Oh my god, he fucking just, wow. Dave lunges forward and kisses Karkat directly on the mouth. It's like a dam has burst. Neither of them could hold anything back now, even if they wanted to. It's like, god damn. I'm sorry, I'm blowing the description here and missing a lot of good shit. It just caught me so off guard. Dave, my dude, I'm so proud of you. Okay, I can do this. I fucking need to do this justice. Cracks the motherfucking knuckles of a yaoi poet and gets down to business. You know what? Nah. I'm not going to intercede with a single word further, and I won't let you either. I won't cheapen this beautiful moment with my base editorialization just to satisfy your voyeuristic curiosity. Frankly, I'm offended you'd even expect me to. What they're getting up to here is nobody's damn business but theirs. I just inserted... It's nobody's business but theirs. I just got very enthusiastic there. Dave Cat is canon, and that's all there really is to say on the matter. Let's give these lovebirds some privacy and move on. Okay. So that's that, I guess. Meet 39. How many are in Meet? It's 44, right? So we're probably going to finish it next weekend for sure. Well, we went a little over time, but I also spent half an hour talking about an article at the beginning of the stream. So, you know. So close. We are indeed so close to the end. Oh no, this is the one where he yells at Jake. Ooh, all of the ending chapters of Meat are fucking painful. Well, let me write down here. We are on chapter 39. Cool. Okay, so I should already be asleep because of how early I need to wake up for where I'm going tomorrow. So I'm going to try and cut this short because I know I tend to ramble at the end of these things. Next stream will not be tomorrow. It will be Sunday evening, same time, same place, resuming from chapter 39. Following that, there will be yet another Dream Daddy bonus stream on Tuesday. And then the next weekend, we should be back to Friday, Saturday regular schedule. So, that being said, thank you so much for coming and hanging out this evening. I hope you had a lovely time. Have a wonderful rest of your day, whatever it is you may be getting up to. And Homestuck Volume 10 will play us out.